What is your opinion on just what makes great marketing, right? And you've been in so many different organizations and helped create success so many different times over. I'd love just to start that way. What makes great marketing, B2B marketing?
I always like to think that great marketing, there is a little bit in the audience that you're talking to, but in general, something that's relevant, so timely, and also, that captures someone's attention, right? We're living in a time where we are inundated with what we're getting on social media, what we see, or what we hear on podcasts, what we see on TV. So much content is out there. So things that are captivating and that can break through the noise and that are relevant to what's going on in the world are usually the foundations of great marketing. And I would zoom out a little bit to also say that you have to keep the audience in mind. And I know we're going to talk a little bit about this with FOMO of revenue, but at the end of the day, I could come up with the most imaginative and creative and lovely idea that's all those things I said. But if it's not going to reach the audience you want to reach, then that's not great marketing.
This understanding, I think even Gartner was talking about the trend towards how CMOs today need to be more chief customer officers, right? We have to understand who it is. That relevance is all about understanding their needs, understanding their jobs, understanding what's impacting them, the risks through the decisions that they're making, all of that. In the idea of kind of the customer, and you have a perspective on representing the voice of the customer that I wanted to have you talk about a little bit.
Yeah, and I'm going to take us back about 20 years to the very first startup I
Okay.
ever worked at. I actually started off in customer success, moved into sales, and while I was and then I moved into marketing role after that. And what was really interesting, and I'm going to speak to my time in sales because it shaped how I think about marketing. When I was out there on the front lines and hearing what the customers were saying, I was getting very different information than when I moved into the marketing role and I was just sitting at my desk. Everything I heard from my clients or potential clients too, when I was on sales calls, fed into what I talked about with the next customer, what I fed into what I gave to marketing to update the collateral that we had. And so now as a marketer, I find it that all marketers should do this, but it's something I certainly do and I think is a high value activity, but it's to set up and conduct voice of client interviews. And so this stems from that very first startup I ever worked at and the ability to listen to what they say and then translate that into the scripting or the collateral or the things that are relevant. And in fact, I was, just speaking with an audience yesterday on this topic. And I said, look, so many times we overcomplicate things. If you conduct really valuable voice of client interviews, it's actually an easy way out of some of the hard work that marketers have to do. Well, what do I mean by that? If you ask the questions and you actually listen to what your clients are saying on the other side, they're going to tell you everything that you need to put out there in the market to help bring in top of funnel clients, to move them through, to keep clients, to make sure that they're renewing or potentially expanding. And so, one may say it's a lazy marketer's dream come true. It does take a lot of work, but like why not work smarter, as opposed to working harder? Conducting these voice of client interviews are really one of the most valuable and one of the most efficient things a marketer can do.